images. You know, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So I'm going to get 50,000 words into my presentation. I'm so excited to see you today. It's because of Missy Kara that I'm here. Or maybe it's because she's here because of me, I don't know which. But we connected on a Zoom call. We decided to, reach out and join a coalition, a national coalition. And I was heading up a committee, and Missy was on my call. And after the call, she called me. She said, "Do you know anything about a CDC?" And I go, "Maybe not enough." So she started telling me her story. Here's the cool thing. Missy and I have been bonded ever since then. It's been about 2 years since I met her. 6 months after that, she started a Parents' Rights in Education chapter in Fort Worth. This is a concerned mom who did some digging, and she wanted to share what she found. And look at, y'all are here today because of that. So I'm so proud of her. So proud of her. Thank you, Missy. And I want you to know we're in Arizona, Alaska, Montana, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, Texas, Ohio, Wisconsin, and soon to be Colorado. All those leaders in those states are people just like Missy and people just like you. Where's my clicker here? So I'm calling my presentation Oregon to the Alamo. Because recently, my husband and I were traveling, and we did go from Cabo San Lucas about a month ago to San Antonio and Houston. And we went to see the Alamo, and we'd seen that before. We'd been there before. It's kind of an old church, and we heard about the Alamo, and it's all great. But I wasn't raised in Texas, so I didn't know the details of the Alamo and the fact that Texas was a republic, that you received your independence from Mexico, that you fought for that. And there were just a handful of people for 13 days fighting. And I called Missy when I got home, and I said, "Missy, I got it. Now I know why Texans are so doggone haughty. Everything's bigger in Texas." Congratulations, because it's true. We need to remember where we came from and remember that there were lives given up for this state. So there we are. That's a view from our bedroom in Portland, Oregon. Now, I'm just a gal like most of you gals here. We have 3 kids. They're all raised and grown, and they have children of their own. And see that picture of me there? I was the wall design diva. I started my own business in the early 90s. But before that, I was an activist. Now, I didn't see myself as an activist. I went to a school board meeting. I asked about K through 12 AIDS curriculum, which taught kindergartners that 2 people holding hands, and they both were outfitted like men. They were those stick figures that you see on a restroom door. 2 guys. And underneath it said monogamy. And the state of Oregon decided that they needed to teach kindergartners how to keep from getting AIDS. Seriously. That was the first K through 12 CSE that I was introduced to. So made a few phone calls, but back then we didn't have email, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have ways of communicating. We just got together. And we went to the school board meetings. I could make one phone call and get 100 people to a school board meeting. But you know what, you guys? They didn't care. They didn't care. They referred us to the curriculum committee. And then we did a dance with the curriculum committee. I called it the bureaucratic shuffle. Right? Yeah, you've been there. Okay. So I decided to run for public office. I ran for the State House of Representatives. I was tapped because, why? Because I'd been an activist. So, you've been warned, but you're going to be tapped because we need you. Okay. Then in 2012, I ran again. I ran for the Senate. Didn't do that great. I knew I wouldn't win. But we had more volunteers than any other race, even party across the state. Now, it's not so much fun to be a Republican in the state of Oregon. You guys know that, and I'm going to show you. Yeah, but we try. We can't give up. Okay, so this is some more activism. Oops, I'm going to go back one. Okay, so this is Parents' Rights in Education. You see in the upper left-hand corner. There we are with our volunteers. I took this over about 3 years ago. We did some rebranding, got the website going, a lot more information on the website, more friendly. And there we are on the steps of Pioneer Courthouse Square, holding signs saying Kate Brown, she's infamous, you must have heard of her, our tyrant governor, is a bully. Okay, they keep talking about bullies. Well, she is definitely one. So, the reason I'm showing you this, you guys, is that this is fun. It's fun. If there's more than one of you, and you're doing it together with another group, we have a lot to say. And by the way, we're right, aren't we? Yes, we're right. Absolutely. Portland. Portland, Oregon is about 20 minutes away from my home. See this article in the upper left-hand corner is called The Child Soldiers of Portland. Now, you may think that doesn't apply to you. Oh, yes, it does. I'm here today. I flew all the way from Portland. I want you to listen to me. This applies to you. Public schools are training children to become race-conscious revolutionaries. That is what they're doing. And I can tell you, they are doing it. Look at these pictures of all these kids marching. There were over 100 students, minors, in the greater Portland area that took place in all of those riots that you saw in Portland, Oregon last summer. It's happening. A little bit more on that. Okay, I live in a suburb of Portland. It's called Tiger Tualatin. Christopher Rufo wrote a story called The Child Soldiers in Portland, and Tiger Tualatin is where I live. And that was the school board that I testified at about not having K through 12 CSE. I'm going to read this sign. If you are neutral in your situation of injustice and have chosen the side of the oppressor, that's what they're teaching the kids. They've sucked them in. This is indoctrination. I say it's treason to teach a student in a public school, public meaning government, to teach them to rebel, to break the law actually, and rebel against their government. We haven't addressed that today, but I'd say it's treason. Okay. Just a little bit more on that. I mean, we have evidence. So you talked about, what do we do when we hear something's going on? Take pictures, take video, call them up, pretend you're a lib. Pretend you're a lib. Call them up and say, "Oh, I just love what you're doing," and then they'll talk. Oh yeah, I'll tell you all about it. Right? We've got some strategies in Portland. You just haven't needed them until now. Okay, over here there's a social studies. It says, social studies, start working on your warm-up. She's wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. This was in the virtual learning. It's crazy. Okay, that's our home. So, we're normal people. Okay, we're good citizens. These are flags that we hang out by our house. Those are our 8 grandchildren going up the stairs. I'm going to read something to you that was on a Facebook post. So we're really into Facebook. We get a lot of stories from parents on Facebook. This woman says, I was told of a letter sent to our school district from a group of parents and community members. It stated, not exact words, that they had created a list of students that were conservative, white, Christian, and Trump supporters. They made a list. I'm sure I'm on it. It then went on to say that due to problems with white supremacy, racism, etc., they wanted to work with the school to get these students, the district actually, to get these students out. What? This is radical, you guys. They compiled this list by looking at social media, homes with Trump signs in the yard, and voting records. Now, the school board was smart enough, they didn't pass this, but that's the sentiment. So again, my husband and I, we had to leave town quite a bit this last few months because of the COVID thing, and we finally opened up, supposedly. I'm not going to read this to you because it's actually has a lot of bad words in there. I had to even cover some up. But I made a comment to a woman who was criticizing our country. And I said, well, you know, you have lots of choices. How about Cuba, China? Got a lot of choices. She fired back at me and she said, you stupid something, you leave a big comment like that on my post and you will get the penalty. I'll get the penalty? We're a large group of protesters and we plan on blowing your place up. Wow. Really? So I just screenshot that whole thing and I put it on my page. So expose, expose, expose. And I called the police. We were in Mexico, so I didn't want my house blown up. Okay. This is really important. We've been talking about critical race theory. Have you heard what the NEA is doing? Oh my gosh. This is their new business item 39. I mean, they're bad. Okay, I've got 2 minutes, I gotta hurry. Join with Black Lives Matter at School and the Zen Education Project to call for a rally this year on October 14th. George Floyd's birthday, I'm gonna tell you more about that. What that says to me, that's a declaration of war, okay? They're gonna have a protest in our public schools on George Floyd's birthday. Okay. They're partnering with Black Lives Matter and the Zen Project. Okay, I'm just gonna show you a little bit of this and I have a notebook that you can look at. Here we go. Empathy, diversity, Black women, Black villages, restorative justice, queer affirming. Oh, how did that pop in there? I thought this was all about racism. Interesting. Oh, transgender affirming. Now we've got transgenders. And this is the big one. Globalism. This is black and white. This was taught in New York City schools, you guys. It's coming to your school. Collective value, the collective. See, we're either nationalists or we're globalists. That's it. They are globalists. And they have definitions, the whole thing. Week of action demands, end zero tolerance, hire Black teachers, mandate Black history and ethnic studies, and fund counselors, not cops. Did I make it? Yeah. Do I have any more? Oh. So I'm saying, you guys have a responsibility to me. We can't lose Texas. And I said to Missy, oh my gosh, we can't lose Texas. K through 12 public schools are being used as distribution centers for anti-American, radical, leftist, progressive propaganda. Okay, am I blunt enough about that? That is what they're doing. It is not confusing. Remember the Alamo. And I made some notes here too. Remember Davy Crockett. Remember Sam Houston. And remember Travis, William Travis. I didn't know it. This is the Travis hat. Remember who else wears a hat like this? Melania Trump. Remember? You guys, this is your battle here, okay? Remember William Travis. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.